Alright, so much for a big push to get it done today. Too late, it's tomorrow now. It's now tomorrow. We didn't get it done today. We'll do it done tomorrow. Okay, so we just got the starter in. It is in there flush. Hopefully. It should be directly in the center of the hole if it is. It appears to be. Our special new jack shaft thing right here. Should be able to go right in that hole now. Going like that. There we go. There's a seal right in here to keep it from leaking. There's a spring and a couple washers over there that pushes that out. Now Bendixes should go one way and not the other. This motor, this reverses. That turns the motor over and it reverses. See? Okay, so this bolt bottoms out on the shoulder and that sets the depth. So we're going to put some Loctite on this because we don't want this to unscrew. So we're going to use blue Loctite on that, torque that in. It's probably best to put this in before you put the ring gear on because it's probably in the way of the ring gear, I bet. So it probably won't let you go any other way except that way. Alright, let's try this here. See how this works. Come up a little higher so you can see it better. Alright. Hopefully the hard part's done, but I don't think so. We have not mocked up the primary chain yet, so we don't know. Pretty sure it's going to screw with me. Something will. Didn't screw with it yet enough today, so now we're tomorrow. Start the whole day of screwing more. Okay, that is not torqued. Channel locks work really good for holding Bendix gears here. So, let me torque it a little bit. Okay, that's tight. Okay, so hopefully it all works good now. We're hoping. Alright, so probably don't really need to put Loctite here, but I do anyway. We're using blue because that's what's here. You could use red. Don't put anything on the motor sprocket, not needed. If you torque it, it's not needed. Alright. So it's a primary chain. We have not tried this yet. We want to make sure it does not rub on the inside of this plate here from being shoved in too far. Kind of like this camera's in here too far. Need more room. Need elbow room. Alright, let's see here. Oh, we didn't put the lock tabs on yet. Don't forget to put your lock tabs on. How's those channel locks out this time? They were good for doing lock tabs too. We went to all that work to put those tabs in there, we might as well use them, right? There's that one. Let's use this one on this one if we can get to it. Don't get your fingers in there. One down, or three down now, there's three. This one we only have one to choose from, so we're going to use this one. And those you can't really get to very easily, if at all. Really need to pound them up a little bit. A big screwdriver will help. This one I can just go like this maybe. That one's done. And this one here, I don't want to get to that, it's beat up with hand. So they were supposed to do, beat on your fingers. Extensions don't make good punches, don't do that. I don't feel like going and getting the damn thing, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, so this sleeve is the one that will not slip up the spline anymore. It's all up against the shoulder here, so it won't go up any further. And we can't see it anymore because we buried it, but anyway, it's engaged in the seal and the bearing over there. Everything rotates nice and smoothly, no binding. If you feel a tight spot, you turn it, there's a binding problem, so something's not right. Either the bearing's on sideways, the primary's bent or broken side, you know, that'll do it, or the main shaft's bent. So any of those things will make things bind. Not good. Binding parts are bad parts. Okay, where'd our chain run off to? Here's our chain. So, down the clutch first. It's on there all the way. Pick it up, put it on the spline. Get this on the bolt over here. Okay, that's all good. Now we gotta get this stuff together over here. Make sure your washers are in here that belong in here. Like that. Can't really see anything. Got no room to put a camera where you can see anything. No, it's in my way anyway. See, I don't have room for cameras and me to work in one spot. Yeah, might be a little bit better view. Okay, so we got our shaft on there. I'll put a little bit of grease on here where the sprocket goes so it doesn't tear itself up before it gets any oil on it. This is going back and forth, so you want to make sure it's lubed. Has a lot of tension on it too, so I'll lubricate it up a little bit. Doesn't help to doesn't hurt to do the ramps either. Okay. So now, put this in here. Our motor to pull this off a little bit. Might help it a little bit easier, I'm not sure. Give it a try, it might work better. Yep, that did help us. Okay, now you gotta slip everything kind of in here together. So those two are started. So I get our clutch going in together here. There, it went all the way in. That's all the way in. That's all the way in. It's pretty close. It might not work. We'll see. Put the compensator in here. And that'll hold it in like that. Now initially I'm going to leave this off. We got a washer in here that we needed. Airline. Okay. Put that in there. Where's my 9/16 at? Half an inch. Thought I had it out. I'm going to mock up this chain shoe and see if it's going to drag or not. Okay, so it's unwrapped. Just put up where it's going to be semi-tight. It's a stove, but you have to pull it to engage it. Okay. Now I have to compensate out so I can rotate the motor. So rotate a little bit like this. I'm pushing both the sprocket and the clutch ends, so that gives me an idea where the chain is at. Rotate it around a little bit to let things kind of self-center. And then look up in here and see what your gap is. And you can see how there's a gap up in between the chain and that. You see how you can move it over? It doesn't hit, so you can move it over quite a bit. It's fine. Okay, so it's going to be no problem. It's going to work. All right. Something's going in my favor for once. I'll take it. Okay, so now I got to tighten this down now. So get this nut in here. Kind of hard to get in there with this. Lack of room. There we go. So I'm going to put it in the socket here. Here's the socket. Have to loosen or tighten, so I got it started. Yep, she's started. Okay. So go ahead and tighten it up with this. Not super tight, but tight. Definitely got clearance still. Okay, we look at our ring gear now to see where our starter jack shaft clearance is. We got our clearance in there, so no problem with that. Light coming off, so this will engage. Should slide over that far and get full engagement if it wants to, which is good because you only get like half. Okay, that all looks good. Okay, so now we got to adjust our primary chain. This is a little on the loose side, so we're going to drop this down, move up a little bit, make sure that's all the way in. Right now I got this disconnected so I can spin this and check for the high spot, because there's a high and a loose. There's always a tight spot somewhere in this stuff, so you got to find a tight spot. Tight spots when the thing goes up like that, it's tight. Okay. So this I got to loosen up and go up one notch. Yeah, it's too tight. See, it doesn't move. That's too much. Down one. There you go. Rotate it. Try to find the tightest spot. This one seems to be pretty even. So this is probably your tightest spot right here. So now you got to decide how loose you want it to be. Some people think that's too tight. To me, that's fine. Make sure your sprocket's all the way over. It is. So if you go down one position, now look how loose it got. So now you're pretty loose. So you'll get more chain snatch being loose like this. Some people say these get tighter when they get hot. I don't know. All I know is I don't like them being this loose, and this is our tightest spot too. Go up one. That's where I run it at. That should be good. So it's good and tight. That nut's tight, that nut's tight. This one's tight, but it's not real tight, and it's missing a part because it doesn't work, see? So now we come in here and loosen this. Put on our part, like that. Good to go on the spline, and good to go. Okay, goes in. That's tight. Check your chain again. Actually, it might loosen up slightly, but I don't know, it's still pretty good. Might have got slightly looser. Definitely perfect. Okay, now to turn the motor over, you have to actually turn the motor over the socket or something to check anything at this point. Okay, I want to make sure these are tight. Figure out what size they are. Oh, they're probably metric. Great. Oh yeah, 10 millimeter. I'll probably still this off a jet bike, probably. Okay, those seem to be pretty tight. They're not moving. Yep, they're tight. All right, so now we got our adjuster here, needs to go in there. So this is off center, so you got to find the spot where it goes. That's the one. Can't see anything around here. Okay, so like I said, it doesn't go this way. See how it doesn't fit? No, it does fit. I thought these were symmetrical. I just thought these weren't. Thought they were asymmetrical, not symmetrical. It is symmetrical. Okay, unadjusted, so it'll go all the way in. I can put the snap ring in there. Tool. There's my tool. Need the smaller ones to get in there. So, smooth edge, sharp edge goes out. It is not the right tool. I did use this tool. Push it in. Make sure it feels like it's in all the way. It does. Okay. It's a free play in the clutch there. Usually what I do is I pull the clutch in like this up top. Whoop. And then you go down here and you tighten it up down here a little bit. So we had a Allen that was out before. There it is. My other hand. Undo the nut. So as you rotate this here, you can see the lever going out. So you keep going this around until it stops. It stops right there. That's 0. See, it's 0. Doesn't move. It'll work that way, but it's no free play. Now this was already adjusted before, that's why I'm not going to totally readjust it. To adjust it correctly, you take all the free play out of the cable. I mean, you put a bunch of free play in here, so you back this off about a ½ inch. So this will be all the way against the bar. And you tighten this down until it bottoms out. Let's say it bottomed out right there. And you back it off a quarter to a ½ a turn is usually what I go. A lot of guys will go 3/4 a turn or even a full turn. I don't like going that much. That puts free play in the push rod mechanism to the clutch. So even though you got clearance up in here, if this is tight down here, you'll burn this clutch up. So you got to make sure you got clearance down here first. Once you have clearance down here, then you can come up here, tighten this up until you get the free play up here where you want it to be. You can make this 0 free play here and still have free play in here. And you can do it the other way around. So no matter what, you have to have free play. So, goes the wrench. So right now we have about that much free play up there. See, I just adjusted it for my free play right there. So if you want a little bit more free play than that, because the clutch usually works pretty good on these bikes, we'll just come back in here and unadjust this a little bit. So you go about maybe that far. Put the nut down again. Come up here and check it. See how you get more free play up here. Now we know this is going to move a little bit when you torque it, so I'm going to go ahead and get a little extra right now. Tighten the nut up there. So Now you're getting a lot more free play, see? So it's, some bikes you want them that loose, some bikes you don't. So now I got to tighten the jam nut up, which will tighten up the cable easily. So I'm going to get the zip gun to do it. It's tight. Okay, now we go up here and see what we got up in here for our free play. Didn't change it any. Yeah, I hit it too hard, too fast. It didn't change. Okay, so it didn't change it any, so I'm going to go ahead and loosen it up and pick that play up this time. About right there probably. So I looked at where the flat was, it moved about half a flat over. Okay. So now I got about that loose, which is about what I like it being. Now when you're riding the bike, you want the clutch to release, not right here. I like having it about right out here, and you pop the rest of it. So you want to go about two-thirds of the way out before it really engages, and then release it. That's the sweet spot for me. Everybody has a different feel point. So if you want to know what that really is, move stuff out of the way so you can get the camera over here. So what I do is you go here and see how the clutch works right now. So you pull the clutch in and see if you can rotate this thing. There's nothing really to grab a hold of on this new bike. So break the clutch free so you can rotate it. Okay, now I release the clutch until it starts to lock up on me. Okay, right there is where it's locking up. Still is not moving the bike yet because I'm still moving my fingers a little bit. But you can see how far I'm away from the lever right now. So when I go about this much more, it's going to start moving the bike, and then the rest of it releases it. So it lets it right out where I want it to be. And I kind of know where everything's at because I'm used to adjusting clutches, so I know where I like them at. So that's why I leave that much free play at the top when I started. Alright, so this is all adjusted here, so this should all be good. We don't know if the starter and all that works, but hopefully it will. We don't know. Okay, so everything's all adjusted here, so now it's just a matter of putting the primary cover on it. So let me go get some stuff, we'll be back.